Hi, I'm Pharaoh, and today I'm gonna, as I said in the chat, I'm just gonna investigate an S-class multi-tool, have a look at the bones again a little bit, just try and work out what's going on with the missing ones, and generally just kind of have a casual play of the current version of No Man's Sky. I'm sticking to my Omega Plus save, which is the save that I take into each expedition. So it's kind of been through everything since Omega. And I think the first thing I want to do is have a quick look at what on earth that is in my refiner. Oh, I was getting some dihydrogen. Very sensible. Past me did the right thing. And even more. Excellent. Partly because I think I probably got some frigate missions I need to debrief. Yep, I do. So high ignition I saw and high grav naught. And welcome. I can't remember if I had finished my skull collection when I was last streaming, but I certainly have now. So these are all of the skulls apart from the two that don't seem to be available. And those two are this one here. I think that's the mustachioed skull. And where is it? This one here, which is one of the beak skulls. Let's see if I can remember. Oh, not remember. See if I can get the names properly. So we can look at them here. There's one. Yep, the mustachioed skull. There's nothing else to that name. Oops. And the one after the parrot. Yep, that one. Snapbeak skull. So I might have a little investigation and see if I can find any of those in bone camps, in the paleontology camps, because you never know. Just because it's not or don't appear to be in the drop tables when we pick bones up doesn't mean it's not going to be presenting itself elsewhere in the game, I figure. Especially as we look at the wonders list and we look at the fossil records. This one was a question mark before, but now I've got it. And so it was very much like that one, which is the mustachioed one, and it was very much like this one, which was the snapbeak one. So you never know. I'm carrying a multi-tool staff that I picked up today while investigating another staff. This is an S-class staff. I might go to the location, and I'm not really a big fan of the aerated staffs, but I picked it up just to check its stats, and then I messed up my save and reload, so I wasn't able to just dump it. So I might just store it. I might destroy it. I'm not sure. It's not multi-tool I'm super keen on, but it's got some stats to look at. It's got place. And I kind of combined it with the radiance, which luckily I have a few spare of. I don't think I've got them on this ship. Yes, I do. Got oh no, I haven't got the parts. I'm gonna have to get some parts as well. I'm gonna have to get a what have I got? I can put those in the starship for now. And I may need to get some other parts, but because I always like to have the radiant parts because I quite like the multi-tool and the full radiant stuff. So first things first, I want to go back to where I found my multi-tools, which was, I think it was this one. Let me just double check. I've got in my wonders catalogue, I marked the personal records. It's not at the bottom anymore, which always confuses me. This is the location, so that's where I found the aerated staff, and it's in Isentum, as you can see. So if it's in Jupunk. which we can set a waypoint to just to be sure. And we'll reposition our freighter there. No, hasn't got any fuel. This save seriously needs some better modules. It does seem to burn fuel very fast. I haven't investigated all of the planets yet, but I did find an interesting S-class cabinet while I was making my video about finding rare fauna. We go to normal play mode and go there. Right. Into that one. Where was I? Got it marked with a. What do you mean this one? This one's on this planet, which is where I got that aerated staff from. Approaching the Paradise planet where I was doing that investigation of how to find rare fauna. I don't remember what the rad. My mind's thinking about something that's totally unrelated to what I'm doing now, but okay, so where I put this marker down was actually where I put the marker during that fauna video when I was saying that I wanted to mark the spot just in case I couldn't find the fauna. And here there should be like the rare fauna that was on this planet is somewhere over here. So it was in this open area of cave, which I was demonstrating that that's a good place to look. I don't know if it was spawning here at night. Yes, it is. There's one there. Consistently spawns it every time I come here. So far it has never not spawned. Even though it's rare. So anyway, in here is an S-class cabinet. And a relatively boring pistol. I haven't checked the supercharged slots. I'm not really into pistols, to be honest. But I know for a fact that there is a more interesting multi-tool in there. And so for those that aren't really familiar with how these things work, if we go to a different... Well, actually, I'm not even sure if that was this planet. Let's reload here. Each planet you reload on will give you a different multi-tool. So that would theoretically have been the space station reload. And if we reload the restore point here, as I just got out of the ship, and now we have what looks like a rifle. Yeah, it's a rifle. Again, the slot is in the same spot. Intriguingly, it's only there. So all of the others must be in the fourth row, which is unusual. The supercharged slot, that is. So that's the reload on this planet. We go to the discoveries list a second. So we've reloaded on here, and we've reloaded at the space station. And I have already reloaded here, but so I'll do that next, so we're all caught up with what I already know. Ignitions. My game bugged out. Need to downgrade the game version to fix, so I did fix the bug. I reinstalled and then restarted the game. And yes, you were saying the Expedition 18 rewards disappeared. No longer claimable. It's very strange how that even happened, especially as you said, they seem to be there when you looked in the game files. I'd have thought that would be the key, whether or not they were in the game files as marked. So I'm going to go to this other save beacon, and this was coincidentally, well, not coincidentally, I suppose, it was incidentally, where I found this aerated staff, which is also an S-class. I've given you the glyphs for this if anybody's interested in Islington, but I'll give you the location of this one, and then when we've reloaded and gone back, we'll check the other one. I'm not sure how many people are really into the aerated staff, but I guess it would kind of go with the fish heads, the tanks. Kind of has a similar feel to it, a bubbly, watery staff. So this is a... what do you call these? But beacons? Does it actually give itself a name when you go up to it? It's not going to let me anyway because I've already clicked on it. But if I pop the autophage here, which obviously you can only do once you've got the autophage unlocked. It was this cabinet where I was... Actually, I've only got my parts in my other ship. It was this cabinet. Don't think it will let me do the same one again. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works, to be honest. I thought I put the parts in. Are they both bases? I haven't got any core component. Okay, I'll do the craftable one for the core component, which is the fiberglass grip. Is that the one? Probably. It only really matters for the head anyway, as to how this... No, it isn't the fiberglass grip, so it must be the Atlantidium chamber. There it is. Right, so aerated head, Atlantidium chamber, and the fiberglass grip. And there's the S-class of the aerated head multi-tool. Again, it only seems to have the supercharged slot there. I don't think I have actually looked at it because I've got the multi-tool and I tested it in the save editor, and all of these disappeared, and again all of the supercharged slots were in the bottom row, but again it's unusual to see that. So if anybody does like the aerated head, the location here is minus 5.46 plus 2.95, and this is in the Weimar, and I don't think it matters where you reload for cabinets. Gravnaut, can you confirm that? don't think it matters if where you reload as to what you get, because I think it's based entirely on the cabinet. I may be wrong. Anyway, oh, so I wanted to reload that. Reload, restore point. I think this particular, if you have to redo the expedition again, as you're suggesting, I don't think this particular expedition is a bad one to have to redo. It's a relatively quick and easy one. It's just a little bit of a grind getting all of those 80 bones, but apart from that, it's quite a straightforward expedition. Oh, 17 minutes behind. How did that even happen? I've only been going for 20 minutes. Hi, Wolfheart. Good to see you. Yeah, I do agree that I think the glitch technique, you can usually find an S. What do you mean by a friend helped you out? Did they dump a load into your inventory, or did they just kind of point out where they'd been? So in answer to does a reload change anything? We're not 100% sure. Maybe we'll test it. Oh, yes, you did say that somebody you knew had found an airless planet that was near the expedition route before, I believe. So I've now reloaded on the other planet. I haven't reloaded here. And this is a nice experimental pistol. For some reason, it renders as if it's in two-tone, like a white and a cream, but I suspect that's just rendering a shadow. I've not seen that before. Maybe I just haven't looked that closely. It's white and red with dots, with that kind of dotty pattern. And got 2 supercharged slots here. Don't know where the others are yet because I haven't looked. In fact, it's one thing we could do is we could grab it and check out the stats for the experimental. They're not usually wonderful, but they can be. And I need to make sure it does a auto save. I'll just run around a bit. Some people claim that if you jump in and out of a multi-tool, it does an auto save, and I'm not 100% convinced that's true. Maybe it did just then. That's certainly the time here. Just watch the clock tick over and I'll check again. Got 2 Royal Exotics at space stations. It's always interesting. Sometimes I think Hello Games choose certain areas for cool things. Like some of the rendezvous points will have cool multi-tools if you look. I don't know if they've chosen them or whether they've just... yeah, I just got a save there. I don't know if they've chosen them or if it's just random. So I shouldn't need to do anything other than pull up my save editor. Second. So this was in the Omega Plus save. Multi-tool. If I resize it to 10 by 4, it hasn't got a full row because it's a pistol. So if we were to, and we were to enable all slots, then there's a supercharged slot here, one here, one here, one here. So it's more of a distributed one. Maybe these could interact with each other if you were using a bolt caster, because it's not too far away. That one's never going to interact with anything that you've already got. Damage 24.9, mining 25.8, and all experimentals have a scan of 100, which is one of the reasons that some people like them. So that's because they specialize in different things for different multi-tools. I'm not a big fan of them, but I do like to have at least one on a save, especially now we can collect. It does look quite nice. I do like the experimentals in their looks. But red and white aren't really my colours. It hasn't got any of the elaborations on it. It hasn't got, sometimes there's a curl on the top. It does have this pipe here in the middle there. I'm never sure exactly what's rare and what isn't on these things because I'm not a huge multi-tool hunter. It's quite a clean design, simple. So the next thing is to reload the restore point again because I don't actually want to grab it because that will mess up my searches for other multi-tools in that cabinet. What I really like on this save, which I've still not found on this save yet, is an alien multi-tool. So that would be nice. You never know. So we want to go to one of the planets we haven't been to yet, and we can just mark them. So I've gone to the first one. Let's go to this one. There's the mark over there. Okay, so we'll find out what happens when we reload on the ringed planet. Are you running the expedition from your, or from a specific save? Because I know you, when you reloaded, you were saying the other day you didn't have any current saves ignition. So are you running the expedition as a new save, or are you running it with a current save? Definitely a little way away. This isn't a slow ship by any means. Save editor's active form boxes blooming through the game's video. I didn't see that on the screen. I'll have to check back on the screen and see what you mean. Started a new survival. Started a new get save survival. I'm on the record at the moment. Hang on, let me just go to my normal view. Source new space bubble. I'm gonna mainline this one, got all the goodies as quickly as possible. While I started a perma to do it at leisurely pace, no tricks. Fair enough. I think it's always worth having an OP all the tricks save and other more vanilla saves, as it were. Like these casual streams, they wouldn't be very casual if they were permadeath. That's quite big enough to ride that beetle. Doesn't look it from here. Yeah, as I've said many times, I think survival is kind of the secret normal, in that the game seems to be balanced around survival. If you're ever wondering why is this game balanced like this, then it's probably because you're normal. Right, that's quite a lot of the fauna in just for one tiny position. What else do we have here? We have an underground. Of course, we have another rare underground. That's 3 rare undergrounds on 3 planets in this system so far. I might have a look for it. Uncommon underwater in the north. Common underwater always active. Am I in the north? No, I'm in the south, only just. So I might do that in a bit. But first of all, let's reload here, so that we know we can go and look at that cabinet. And we don't forget. Yeah, you wouldn't... There aren't many instances where I'd want to play perma as a multiplayer. One's slightly too high to see which way north is. Quite nice planets in this system. I mean, it is Eisenton. You do expect to find nice planets in systems. It's funny when you get a clump of trees on the top of a thing like that. Oh, did I find it immediately? It looks like I did. 53, so it's probably tucked in there somewhere. Don't despawn. It's not there. It was just frustrating when you can't quite work out where it is. So there, yes, it was in there all along. got the rare underground, and we just need the underwaters. I think any of them were rare, were they? No, so it's probably not going to be too deep. Been criticised by some French folks about the way I play because I like to maximize my save, and because I use glitches or glitch building, they say it shouldn't be played that way. Well, certainly glitch building is definitely a weird choice. I mean, playing it purely without any glitch building would just make building less interesting. I can understand the vanilla approach. I do like a more vanilla approach myself for other things. But there are certain things that I kind of... there are certain things I like to occasionally manipulate, like manipulating stats. On some modules, I sometimes will do. And I will look at stats on things, and I'll investigate what's really going on in things, and use the save editor to find out whether the multi-tool I've just found is a good one, that kind of thing. I don't see anything wrong with that. What should you say? I don't know. It's the way I like to play the game. I'm not impacting you in any way. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one. Just because I have a relatively vanilla way of playing a lot of the time doesn't mean that I particularly mind if other people want to do things. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one to criticize people in a game that really isn't a full-on multiplayer competitive game. I mean, you could play this completely on your own, offline, never go online at all, disconnect your internet. A lot of Switch players do that anyway. I don't know. I mean, what is No Man's Sky truly? I would say it's an amazing mathematical algorithm. Others would say it's very much an exploration game. I don't know what is. It's a lot of different things to different people. Some people, it's a great multiplayer experience because they love just kind of wandering around together, finding stuff, and just generally enjoying themselves. Okay, I would say that was quite a boring rifle. Not something I would especially seek out. Again, it has these supercharged slots in the same position, which seems to be a pattern with certain types of multi-tool. I think the important thing is to not have a dogmatic idea of what No Man's Sky is, because other people will see it very differently. I mean, well, I think the point there is should. What does should be played mean? You know, if you and a friend like playing games together, then one way you could play No Man's Sky is just both hanging out and exploring together. And I don't see that as being that seems like a quite fun way of playing. You know, there's people that play in the they only ever build their bases in the civilization space and hang out with players there. Some people role play that so that they're very much taking on a role. The game doesn't really fully support those things, but you can do it. Yeah, but when people say it's a sandbox, that's pretty much what I mean by it's a great mathematical algorithm. In that it's this great big enormous place that you can visit and find new things in, find cool things in. But even the word sandbox, I mean, I come from a tabletop role-playing background, and the word sandbox can mean very different things to very different people. So in one way, some people say a sandbox is like, well, it's all just very much an experimental idea and you just uncover the things in the world. And other people would say a sandbox is, well, it's all completely randomized and every encounter you have is like rolled on the spot. And No Man's Sky is a bit of both of those things. The archive has been subverted, hacked to spread banned, censored messages of a distant religion. Korvax are wounded. So the unsilenceable voice of Null. The Korvax are wounded, broken creatures, believing their death cries are logic. They drown themselves out in communion to forget their pain. They shall not help us. The Gek, debased, accursed, lacking their prior might with no honour to replace it. Believe nothing will end. That growth can go on forever. It has been to the ancients and those who followed to discover our future, but what have they found but dust, impotent grass? No? Tell me, friends, have you heard of the testament of Null? Null is not dead. They heard what Herc could not. They live still at the right hand of God. They encourage us to show how we care, that we will not leave the Atlas light, that devotion will never fade. Only through this is oblivion spared. Only through this will we be ready. Yes, Null worship is slightly odd. When does the game end? The game ends when you get bored, I guess. So far, that's never happened to me. I know some people, it happens quite quickly.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
What's the win condition? Well, it's certainly not being a billionaire like some people seem to think. Some people raced. Actually, I'm going to reload there as well, don't I? Reload. Some people seem to race to get 4 whatever it is billion credits, and then say, what else is there to do? I can buy everything. It's like, well, theoretically you can buy everything, but what does your best ship look like? How many of your favourite types of fauna have you found? Have you found all types of fauna? Didn't investigate the fauna on that planet, but I don't know. I mean, is there an answer? There is an answer. There's definitely not a win condition. I mean, you're winning when you are enjoying the game. I think is the only way you can say there's a winning condition. Let's start counting them, shall we, Grabnort? Let's start counting them one by one. We'll only be here for another few million years. Slightly boring too. Interesting that hasn't even got its all of its slots filled out. There, I would say nothing to see here. Where have we still not been? We haven't been there. This is kind of the backwards way of, or the stumbling upon way of finding a multi-tool, just happening on a cabinet that's S-class, then finding out what it contains. Because usually you'll find a promising A-class and then start doing your research. Definitely the easier way around. Because finding a promising A-class and then finding the S-class can take a long while. What I haven't tested recently is different multi-tools in cabinets when you come through portals. There was a time when it did make a difference. But I think only in certain circumstances. Test that in my own time at some point. It'll go on my huge list of things to experiment with in No Man's Sky, which is one of the reasons I love playing it. See, the fascination I have with Fauna is because the algorithm is a lot more complicated and varied than people give it credit for. So this, nobody will have quite found exactly the same dinosaur as this, because of the way that the skeleton is chosen and the body shape. They might have found those combinations of parts. They might even have found the exact same color, but they won't have found the exact same one. Oh, I had it then.
Units received. Units received.
Rare ground, rare flying. Okay, we can probably get that before we leave here. So I heard something spawn in there. It's like a little oral indicator of
Units received.
when something spawns in. You can hear the creature. And you get like a tweet noise if something flying has spawned in. There's the other one.
Units received.
Nice cat. Absolutely, which is like that pattern on the on this particular dinosaur. Is that texture and I mean everything about it really. It's going to be pretty different to any of the others you find. I remember I found some of these hippo types, and they were small, and they just look so kind of Disney cartoonish. I've never seen anything quite like it since, and unfortunately it was before Origins, so they got wiped out. But they were some of my favourite fauna. So we need to reload here. And this is the last chance of the S-Class multi-tool being an alien, which it probably won't be because they seem very rare, but you never know. When we arrive back at this paradise planet, I'll demonstrate that there are some things about this planet that are the types of things you don't see very often. I think if you're the type of person that appreciates nuance and appreciates subtle differences, then No Man's Sky is a hard game to ever get bored of, because you're always going to see something new. If you just see the big broad picture patterns and don't really care about the subtleties, then you'll probably get bored quite quickly. And I'm not saying that you're wrong to think that way. It's just a different way of seeing the game. it's just what you like and what you don't like. Oh, it's another experimental, much nicer colour, I would say. So there's 2 experimentals in this particular cabinet. And the location of this particular cabinet is minus 10.25 plus 39.75. And hang on, where's my glyphs thing? I put it's not gonna. We need that. No, that's not worked. Yeah, something's gone wrong with my thing. Anyway, so let's go into photo mode and get the glyphs. So it's a paradise planet in Isentum. Let's see if I can get that to be on that dark patch there. That's better. And if you're into your experimental pistols, go back to that view. And this is a good place to come. Especially if you like your greens. I don't see many green multi-tools, to be honest. You might, but I haven't. Maybe I should look at the stats of this one. I realised what you were talking about, Gravnot, when you said the thing was bleeding through. There's I'll go back to it. It's because it's in my recording. You mean that white bar? Yes. I understand what you mean now. For some reason, the rest of the save edge isn't showing now, only that white little bar. Why is that? Hmm. For some reason, I'm not able to show it now. It seems to have completely lost itself. Let's see if I can force it. Properties. Okay, that's better. Right. So multi-tool 49.65 damage. So that's a little bit better. No, this isn't the multi-tool I'm carrying. I haven't even grabbed it yet. I'd say that's rather good for a I need to grab this, compare, buy, go outside and run around for a bit. Which you can't see me doing, but I will try this jumping in and out of a exocraft thing. I'm not sure if that works or not. Go to... Yeah, it might have done. Let's have a look. Been modeled to modify, which let's reload. Yes. Multi-tool. So it's 24.917, 25.803, and scan 100, which is always. And I'm pretty sure the inventory will be the same. So 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So you got 2 choices of colour: white with red dots, or actually, I'll leave that there because I think that's the thing that's confusing it. We'll go back to that view. Oh, I don't want to jump out of this. I want to reload, restore point. Nearly messed it up and grabbed that multi-tool that I don't really want. Like I did earlier with the staff that I didn't really want. I'm carrying now. So that's that cabinet investigated. How come I haven't talked to that NPC? I thought I had. Let's have a little chat with him, see what he has to say. Spy keen only prove you're an interloper. Though the alien is intimidating to say the least, the stance is not one of aggression. Indeed, they appear to be asking for my help. Ah, we have one of the missions. I don't see these very often. They made a big thing about putting these into the game. And then they seem to be quite rare. So he wants me to scan a creature. Preferably those that live on their home planet of Amphonk XII in this system. But I might have already scanned them all. Let's see what happens. They have not been clear as to what they will do with this data. However, they have made it very clear that I will be rewarded handsomely should I assist them in collecting the data. I will... Okay, so I get an exosuit upgrade chart. Not that I want that, but I'm going to do the mission anyway because it's interesting. I've not done many of these. I think I've done 3 total. So it's asking me to scan stuff on this planet, but it said preferably, but I can't scan anything on this planet. So I'm going to have to go to that planet I haven't scanned. I think the preferable thing is just flavor text, really. That one we haven't. Just to be clear, the last selected ship is the one you can copy back to your main save once you finish the expo, right? Well, the trick is to not finish it until you've selected the ship you want. So it's whichever ship is currently selected. And if you wanted to transfer, say for instance, a different ship than you was currently in your normal save into the expedition, you could always go back to your normal save, jump in a ship, jump out of it, go back to the expedition, and then that would be the one. So it's whichever one was the active one in that other mode. But yes, I think the simple answer is yes. There can also be a bit of a clash sometimes if you try and bring back a ship that's also the reward for the expedition, because you claimed that reward, you brought it back to your other save, and then that makes it a bit tricky to then claim. The one from the Quicksilver merchant. Especially multi-tools, they can be very fussy. But you can always go and store them if you want 2 copies of a... Let's find out what this is. It's the metal thing. trying to communicate with me, is it? No. Dyson lens, okay. Doesn't seem to have any other interaction, does it? I haven't interacted with this one for a long while. I presume I just shoot this one. Nanites. And then what? Sentinel capital ship just spawned in from. Okay, that's interesting. Sort the capital ship out because that's the one that's doing me damage. They fixed that thing where it was shooting through. It looks like they might have done. This feels a little bit too easy to fix our ships, but just being able to recharge that. I know the NPCs do it too now. Hi, Alphas. Good to see you. I'm a little bit distracted. Didn't spot you until then, but I wasn't expecting this encounter. Haven't really got the best weapon to sort this out either. That's not counting much. That doesn't seem to be knocking it down much. Let's go to the engines. It might be a little bit more effective. Yeah, it's a bit faster. This is another positive reason for having planets marked, because I was on my way to a planet. It could be very easy to get completely sidetracked and forget which planet you were going to. Now at least we have it marked and we can just carry on with whatever we were doing. There used to be a line. My standing increase with the outlaws and decrease from the Viking. I guess it's because it's Sentinel. I mean, it's the authorities. I don't know. Be a line somewhere here that used to be good damage, but they might have changed it. None of that looks good damage, but I think I've done it now. Thanks for this carrier AI fragment. I'll put it with the others. Well, it's helped with my outlaw rank at least, I guess. Not that I was grinding that, but it's not one of those very dark planets. Since they changed how dark planets were when you land in the dark side of the planet, feels like there's a lot more of them than you'd expect that are almost pitch black. I feel like we should have a better indication of how close we are to the ground. Some kind of reading. See, I didn't even know I was above water then. I just can't see anything. Oh well, any corner will do for this mission. Theoretically. Scan a creature ticked. There are other ones to find under here. Rare underwater, always active. Common underwater, common underwater. So we need some deeper water for the rare usually. Well, it can sometimes be the crabs. Common flying, common, just the rare underwater. Yeah, it's interesting. They've now included the stingrays as a potential rare in the normal planets. I knew they popped up in the normal planets. I wasn't aware that they could be the rares. And my heart sank when I saw a beetle, but it wasn't that model of beetle. So I know I don't have to continue searching just in case it's a greater mushroom beetle. Okay, so return to Guard Mandy to report your success. I like the fact that they've got just straight NPC missions. I'm not quite sure why they chose to make them so rare. Because I feel like you're more likely to come across them when the rewards are not going to be that interesting to you.
Product received. Product received.
Of course, there were always a few NPC missions before they introduced this newer system. They just weren't as formal as this. What's the other award? Viking standing. Okay, fair enough. Now I actually do make use of exosuit upgrade charts because I use those as a way of finding cabinets or staff, or staves, as I guess we should call staffs. I was really trying to decide whether to, in my one of my videos about staffs, it's like, should I call them staves or staffs? And I decided with staffs, just because it's unusual to say staves. So I think we've discovered all the fauna in this system. No, we haven't discovered everything there. Oh, I just did the underwater, didn't I? So maybe I'll finish off that in a second. I've done everything else. Yep, so... let's finish the system. Quite a nice system for planets. It's not this planet we're going to. This one's got ancient bones. It's almost paradise. The only difference is the high sentinel activity. So if you like a relaxing bone planet, then that's not a bad one. The sentinels didn't seem to be particularly aggressive. I just want to test something and see if your surname comes up, Alphys, on my so it might seem a bit... yes, it does. I'm trying to work out why it wasn't putting both names, and it's because I selected it at one point, and then depends on the browser I'm using and what I've got in the thing. I need to change my bookmark. That's all I need to do, really. So I can say that's fixed. I save the bookmark now. It's a bit confused because I've already got a bookmark that's very similar. So we want ground fauna. What have we yet to get? Common flying, uncommon flying. Oh, it's all flying on this planet, so could have landed anywhere really, but at least we can see now. Because there's still a whole month to go before the next expedition, or at least a month to go before a possible next expedition. Probably won't be one, or another possible update. Probably won't be one quite then. I'm trying to decide what my main focus of the stream should be. Should I start a different save or not? Should I start a perma save? Should I start an abandoned save? I'm not really sure. So, anybody got any opinions on that? I wouldn't do it every time I streamed, because I know it's not what everybody wants to see. Abandoned permadeath. I could have already told you what Gravnort was going to say. Register 2000. I quite like these occasional, just kind of quite relaxed streams, looking around, looking at planets, looking at fauna, checking out multi-tools. So I wouldn't want to just abandon that kind of relaxed exploration. I mean, maybe I could get into a pattern where I do different things on different days. Yeah, I mean, as I've said a few times, the abandoned mode attracts me on lots of levels. It's just that lack of fauna that really does me. As you can see, one of the things I do just to relax in this game is to search out all the fauna. And then there's always that possibility that you will find something really rare, which, I mean, yes, I haven't, but there's always that kind of just potential that you come across a really, really interesting find. And that is massively lessened with abandoned. But I haven't tried abandoned yet, so I should try it out at least. I just have never pulled the trigger on it. Still searching for the egg layer. Yes, that's an issue, isn't it? Should it really be that hard to find an animal that you can farm that lays eggs? But I guess that's a challenge in and of itself. The other thing I was going to have a little play with on this particular stream was potentially, I haven't got many charts, but potentially grabbing a few charts and seeing whether we can find a few more of the paleontology camps and see if they do give these different skulls. Let's see how many. Where do I usually keep my navigation data? It does like scanning me on this system. You can go forever. You can go for ages without being scanned once. For some reason your longer question didn't come up on my system. Gravnort. I've got they can also be found in purple systems, but it didn't come. The previous one, I was waiting for it to come up and it never did. So I'll read it. It's become easy to find fauna planets, mainly just storm-free, dissonant-free, non-aggressive, sentinel. Reading it on this screen is annoying. It's just make this a bit bigger so I can actually read it out. It's become easier to find fauna planets, mainly just storm-free, dissonant-free, non-aggressive, sentinel, frozen, toxic, irradiated, and scorched biomes. There are some exceptions, though. So what you are implying there is all of the major biomes apart from lush and desert are likely to have fauna. Nice color on that metal. It's not one of my favorite types of ship, but I do like the color of the metal. It's like that copper finish to it. Sometimes if you find one fighter with metallic finish, you find others. Yeah, that looks like it's a nice green metal as well. There's definitely a green hue to that metal. Just not a big fan of the fighter type. Although I don't mind the Halo ones, actually. That's if I was going to go for a fighter cockpit, then that's not a Halo, but you know what I mean. What's it? Help me out if anybody knows all of the names of ship parts. That kind of wing. And I definitely would go for a single thruster. I mainly look at the colours rather than the types of parts, because I don't build ships very often. So I don't really memorise all the names of the parts very often. Lush, barren, mega exotic, dead, volcanic have not yielded fauna. The restrictions apply to yellow, red, green and blue systems only. In other words, in purple systems you found fauna all the time normally. But they're all abandoned systems though, aren't they? So you're still gonna be a purple abandoned system. So it's still going to be less likely to have fauna, the way I understand it. Unless you're saying that isn't how it works. What am I doing? Why did... Oh, I know I came here. I came to see how many charts I could buy. First of all, what's the random map here? For those of you that don't know, it's always the same. It's the ancient. So I think we discovered them with red, didn't we, the other day? The paleontology. Now, they should all pop on the same planet. No, it didn't. So, okay, let's go to a planet. Go to this one because we might pick up some bones at the same time, as it's a bone thing we're doing. Have a good meal, Ignition. So let's try and get this clear Grabnor. In this save, and you're kind of clarifying now, so let's see what you say. So yes, every system is abandoned. I have found 13 fauna on planets in purple systems. I think it's an oversight, but so they didn't restrict fauna in purple systems like the rest of the systems. Okay. If that is the case, then I'm quite pleased with that, because it gives you an incentive to go to purple systems, just as Alphys is suggesting that he might actually have a reason to go to one now. That kind of makes up for it a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to pop in the ship because you don't get that animation. You just get the marker and the type. What do we have? We have paleontological dig site, which is the one I want, basically. Training post, colossal archive. I saw a shelter somewhere, but I haven't seen it on here. Right, let's go to the paleontological dig site. Now, the reason I'm going to these, for those that have popped in later, is I've been collecting all the skulls, and I have 2 skulls I haven't got. And everybody says, well, they're just not available. But I can't help thinking that, especially as one of them is one I've seen as the giant skull in the paleontological dig site, that maybe that's a clue that they can occasionally pop up in this one bone in the site. So I'm just checking them. I'm going to check a few and see if they're all the same on each planet, for instance. Make sure I haven't got any bones in here. No. Or there. Or there. Okay, well that wasn't. That was a rib cage. You can actually tell, which I think is quite cool, that you can look at the fossil before you even pick it up and know whether it's going to be a skull or I just tried to repair that and I just did the wrong button. I think it's really cool that you can tell what type it is. I did the Atlantid drive ASAP so I could get the exosuit summoning station. That's what makes life so much easier after having it 5 explorations. Yes, well, I agree. I'm not a big fan of just carrying around whole exocraft stations myself. Double checking that it's not available in here. Nope. Neither of them are available there. And it's possible they're just not available. Sometimes it's worth doing these things even when everybody says the opposite, just because there's a lot of received wisdom in No Man's Sky. Why do the pirates hate paleontology so much? They're always attacking these places. Yeah, I can understand, because you don't have to do the missions in abandoned mode. Then there would be an incentive to just go straight to Purple Systems and get the better gear. I mean, it's ironically what people have been asking for years in the normal mode is the ability to just not have to do any of the missions. Now, the reason I'm shooting these is because the only other way to get rid of them is to reload. Because I'm going to be going to another site, and they just follow you. They'll just go to the next site and the next site and the next site. So you just have to get rid of them. Yeah, I think they've even made it so that you can see it on your scanner now, haven't they? Go far enough away. No, I thought they had. But they should make it so you can see it on your scanner. Because it's a pain. See, there I am saying it's a pain to carry one around and use it. I always have one. I just don't use it anymore. Because I have the X-Craft summoning unit. But which part's this? Must be a grasping hand. You can still use the Nexus missions. A mission sent me to a purple system even though I didn't have the Atlantid drive. Yeah, I've heard other people mention that. using a central ship in abandoned mode, and the game keeps prompting me to build a hyperdrive for Alone Amidst the Stars. Okay. Make sure I'm in the atmosphere. It's good to have one around in case the exosuit one breaks. In perma, survive a higher chance of breakage. Yeah, definitely in perma there's a high, but it doesn't. Have you actually seen that particular one damaged? It's usually just. It usually seems to be the more important things than a summoning unit. I don't know if it's just random what gets damaged. Theoretically, it should also be dig site. So we've got all the other types marked in this system. So I should be able to go from dig site to dig site. And just check out what's actually in each one. See if it's always the same. See if there's any patterns. Moon up was slightly harder to. Is this a moon? Sometimes it's just the smallness of the planet that makes it awkward. Yeah, on a galaxy jump, anything will break, of course. Spoilers. Right, so the first one we got was an ancient ribcage. So the first thing to discover is if it's always the same thing. No, it's a flared ribcage. At least for a little while. I will double check. I should work out which one it follows. I know that one of them follows the parrot. What does the other one follow? Oops. Flathead skull. It's not the canine. So, yeah, that's followed by the canine. The other one was the parrot. And that's followed by the crocodile. I think that's not going to yield anything each time I do that. Is there more than one NPC here? No, there isn't. Okay, so I've done two. I've done two. They've both been rib cages. Let's get in the ship to scan. Mention once you jetpack broke. Yeah. That was really early in perma. Like very early when I didn't have much. So I wonder if it was something random broke and it was just happened to be my jetpack. But yeah, it broke because of the radiation. And then I couldn't get out of the hole quick enough. It's really a frustrating death. Because it was like really quite early on. Just when you think you're doing okay because you've started to grind for things. So I died of radiation damage for the first time ever. Yeah, that would be another way of potentially dying of these things. Localized storms. Have you worked out any patterns for when localized storms happen? Because like some systems, I just never see them. And then other systems, you see them all the time. I wonder if it's a system thing rather than a planet thing. I wonder, maybe, for instance, it could be linked to how aggressive the system is. This game's full of patterns of things that you wouldn't expect to be patterns, so I wouldn't put it past them to key it to how what the conflict level of the system was. Okay, that's ribs again. 3 different ribs all in one go. Three out of 3. You'd expect probably skulls more often because there are so many more of them. Well, you could argue that surely permadeath is all about being kept on your toes, and if it was too easy, it would be too boring. And the number of people that complain that permadeath is too easy, they clearly haven't played permadeath recently, especially at higher settings. And there's a certain truth to the fact that you can become comfortable, and random things can very easily happen that mess you up. So what's the bet? Will it also be a rib cage? Yes. And maybe what we need to do is find a planet where it's always a skull. Encounter those stone guardians in perma. Can't see why they wouldn't be. We could test it. I could jump in my OP perma save and test it. Let's go to this planet. It looks close. Yes, is the answer. I would have thought there would be. Yeah, we pretty much think that they do seem to be a bit of a pain for permadeath saves in terms of how hard they hit. Then, of course, you can avoid them. It's like you're volunteering to be shot by them. I feel like there should be a percentage chance that when you grab the bones, they will spawn regardless. Right, so got a couple left. Yeah, avoiding them is probably the better option, but will this be system-wide? Will it always be a ribcage? Yes, it is. Yeah, I think one of the things about perma is you've got to keep reminding yourself not to get too complacent. For instance, if you are super complacent, then you can make mistakes. But yeah, you can feel king of the world for a while. And then all of a sudden you do something silly, like jump out of your ship at the wrong time. Yep, ribcage every time. So the next thing to do, now I've run out of charts anyway, is maybe trying another system. Couple of systems. This is where I the other day when I used the black hole to try and jump out of the area I was in, so I could find a water planet. I think it was looking for. So these are all newish systems to me. This one has a paradise planet on it. It's a nice colour. It's a nice colour blue. But it's wouldn't say it's my favourite paradise, but of course we're in Isenton, so you get a lot of paradise planets here. Get a few more charts. We're going to need a lot again, aren't we? I might not have that many. I can't remember where I stash my... Oh, there they are. I've got 18. That shouldn't be too bad. Let's see what the random one is here. Maybe we can just buy them. Green.
Product received.
Now here's a trick I quite like to do. So I'll demonstrate it here. I'm going to search for the paleontological sites on the Paradise planet. But I'm going to go down to this planet and pop all the charts first. Because I haven't been on this planet yet. Still in here. Put them where I normally look for them, otherwise I'll just get confused. So I've got the Planetary Archive. I'll come back to that point, Grabnot. Observatory. Minor settlement. And for those that don't quite understand why I'm doing this, if you pop them all while you're stationary and don't visit any of them, it will only give you one of each type. So you want to get everything marked, and then you can visit the one thing that you haven't marked, and then just keep popping charts, and it will only give you that one thing that's left because all the others are marked. Yeah, I really had to click that a lot of times to get this one. It's almost always a shelter that's the last hardest one to pop. Right, so one of these is the paleontological dig. Can't resist grabbing these four in one here. Predator stalker? Is that eating something? No, maybe not. Oh, we've got a vine cat. Quite a nice big one, actually. rare ground, and then the rest of flying and underground. One rare underground. Maybe visit that again at some point. So now I can visit the paleontological site. It's never going to trip off the tongue, that word. Visit the dig site here. Then I can go to another planet and just pop the dig sites, and it won't be confused by all of the other markers. I'll just say dig site. So this is a skull. And it gives me a skull. So again, will it give me a skull on all of them? Oh, we got a nice nice display of tail feathers there. And the other one is quite nice too. See if the flying's around now. It's daytime. There it is. Nice colours. Kind of matches the environment nicely. Right, so now if I go back to my paradise planet, theoretically we should continue to get skulls, so it might be a good place to come back and just keep looking for skulls and see if you can get different drops at the dig sites than you would in the normal bone planets. Might be a bit of a longer experiment, maybe not something I would do entirely on a stream, but the only way to find out is to try these things, because the game files don't tell you everything. Fortunately, we are not in an S class, a level 3 economy. So now, if I pop the chart, the only mark on this planet will be the dig site. Which I find a lot easier than if we're just marking them randomly while flying around. I'm not looking for all of the other marks. I'm just looking for the one mark. See, like all the other marks are all over there. And they're all up there. Whereas there's one on the planet, and it's over here. Paleontological. That's correct, isn't it? Paleontological. Not paleontological. That in a skull. Then maybe my pattern isn't working. Maybe it is per planet. Interesting. I have a question about abandoned systems in normal mode. Do GEC minor settlements not have multi-tools? What? There are no cabinets in GEC systems in abandoned mode. We could look. Let's find out what happens if I look for a dig site on this planet again first and see if it's... Because I thought we'd established that it was going to be system-wide, and now it looks like it is planetary. About which you get, what type you get. But then if we do a search here, and it also seems to be a rib cage, then maybe it's just heavily weighted towards rib cages. And then I'll have a look, see if I can find an abandoned system. Shouldn't be hard to find a GEC abandoned system. I want to get in the atmosphere before I pop anything. Otherwise it will send me to the wrong place.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
I mean, it's not that I would have ever looked for multi-tools in abandoned systems, because they're not likely to be great economies, are they? Are they all the lowest tier? That's a skull, so it must... I say must. It's almost certainly planet-based. Interesting. Probably there were so many skulls. Considering on every other planet I've only found rib cages, if this is also a skull, I think we've established that it must be planet-wide as to what type you get. skull again. Proto parrot. Oh, that's interestingly the one before. If for some reason they came out in order, then the very next one would be one of the ones I wanted. So I don't think they do come out in order, but it makes me want to click it. I think the other ones weren't the ones near the end. No, they're not. Dragon skull and horned predator skull. That one's quite early in the list. That one I think is quite late in the list, so they're not coming out in order. Kind of, it's compelling me to at least try. But I ought to do that. Warrior. Okay. So yeah, it might be worth just sticking here and trying them one at a time. We'll waste a lot of charts, but do that kind of experiment in my own time. We've discovered something interesting, at least, that the dig sites seem to specialize in a particular type of fossil, be it legs or skulls or rib cages, or limbs, skulls, or rib cages. Right, so let's see if we can find an abandoned Gex system. First of all, put it on life form. We're looking for yellow. Actually, does white come up as... but white's going to be uncharted, isn't it? I am going to do this battle because I am still trying to grind the it's on the tip of my tongue what I'm about to say. Bulkheads. So I'm also convinced that the size of the fleet, by how many other vehicles there are in this formation, gives you some indication of the class of the freighter. And there's quite a few if you include these. So I suspect this isn't a C. We'll find out. Just stop in mid-air, that one. Or mid-space.
Hostile ships defeated.
Maybe it's not a stupidly large number, but still don't expect it to be a C.
Navigational data received.
It's a billion. One of the reasons I say this is because if you look at the stats, it says fleet size. And I think the higher fleet size is, the higher the class, the higher the fleet size. And I think that fleet size is represented outside. If we went and counted every single thing that's floating in space as part of this formation, it would probably be 36. Right, so what we want to do here is we want to see if there are any cabinets. In minor settlements specifically, presumably. Presumably there is a, no, we can check that quickly. Presumably there's a cabinet on the anomaly. Is it better to wait for a capital S class or settle for a system S class? Depends on how many slots you want. So for instance, the number of slots that will be available in a capital ship will always be higher. Well, not always, but it will almost certainly be higher. But is that important to you? Okay, so I know you'd already answered the question. Yes, it will already be in the cabinets will be in the anomaly, but I thought I'd look while I was here. There's no other difference between a capital S class and a system S class. Stats will just as likely be high. The just the amount of technology and cargo slots you're likely to see. We might as well just go to the closest planet, won't we? Might not have enough charts to mark one, but we'll probably find one at some point. We got one straight away. Excellent. Nice transition there from that kind of dark brownish orange colour up to the sky, up to the... Yeah, see, the thing is, this is one of those things that has stuck from earlier iterations of the game. I see the potential problem here. Well, we're still missing that wall. Look, I said they'd fix that. Just taking a quick photograph to just demonstrate that that was still an issue. Yeah, these kinds of abandoned station things never have cabinets. So if these are the ones you always get in GEX systems, then no, you're not going to get a multi-tool. And it's the GEX systems that always have this missing wall texture from the outside. That seems to be anyway. Which is a very persistent bug. So yeah, I would say possibly yes. If GEX systems all have this double minor settlement type. Does the Viking always have the normal style then? Let's have a look on other planets, because I can't remember if minor settlements can change on different planets or not. There are more models than people sometimes think, but I don't have any charts. I'm going to have to find one. Or jump out of the system and jump back again. Do we even have them on these volcanic? I presume we do. I presume we do. Building type. A trade terminal. just debris. Just nothing at all. Have to use a beacon. Let's use a beacon. Signal booster rather, not beacon. Less beacon. I don't know if you can do this with multiple things or no, it always finds the same thing. Pick that up. Got to unmark this first. Lighter. It's not scanning properly. C-class. Okay, so that should have marked it. Post. Guess I might as well grab this. Don't always have luck, Alphas, but there is a bit of a stream of luck sometimes. People find things you think that's crazy. But if that had been a higher class one, maybe. What's the highest class you can get in a band? I presume B class. It's quite a nice place. It'd be nicer if there were ships landing, of course. But there wouldn't be. Do nothing? Yeah, I think it failed. Yeah, Sigma boosters are weird. I hardly ever use them. Yeah, I mean, they keep them around because they're a build part. And they keep them around because they can use them in expeditions. And of course, they are part of the storyline. So they're useful technology for them in that respect. But they definitely feel a bit anachronistic now.
Weather warning. Incoming storm.
I wonder if I'm even going to find one here. No, but I think they're used twice in the Artemis storyline, aren't they? They are something that they will usually find you a trading post relatively easily. Seems to be one of the things that they will pick up. But then, of course, we can get a trading post anytime we want. So once we have a economy scanner. See, I'm not getting anything now. Yeah, but isn't there another thing? Don't we use them for the ley line investigation as well? Was it We do something else there. I think we use it for the ley lines when we're trying to find things for Apollo. Not having any luck here. Not the easiest terrain to search. I like the way that nowadays it does keep the things that you've found marked. So you can see on my top scanner. So if I just change the HUD. Disabled. It was HUD under accessibility. So at the top there, it's still kept that trading post we visited, and it's kept the crash site we visited. And on a planet, it will give you an indication of what direction they're in. So if you really want to go back to something, it will take a little while because it's not marked, but they're still on the scanner until you reload. Yeah, and obviously they use them in expeditions occasionally where they say you have to use the what's that consumable you use for them? Those batteries, or whatever they're called, something boosters, signal boosters, battery boot. I don't know. They're not used outside of expeditions, I don't think. Surge battery, yeah.
Technology recharge.
Might as well see what we get in here. Mostly access expansion units that I don't need.
Product received.
All of them, so I'm going to have to grab a few more of those somewhere. That doesn't say previous. Might as well have a look, I suppose. like these rooms. They're nice. It's a very weird thing when they gave us the when they gave it as a build part, though. Very surprising build part. Which planet did we... maybe we should go to a different planet. There's only two. So it's the erupting that we didn't find one on. I presume these don't have any abandoned paleo dig sites. I presume they just crop up only in inhabited systems. I wanted to land on the mountain. I'm not sure if it'll let me there. That's a better spot. There are dig sites in abandoned mode, just no NPCs. Okay, fair enough. Do they have any whispering eggs at them? Yay. They should just have stone guardians at the digs. No, same type. Same type on both planets. It's not an exhaustive check, but I suspect they are all like this. It wouldn't surprise me. Start getting my navigation charts back. Right. We've got that stutter in the galaxy map. Did I do everything here? Oh, there's some underground creatures, weren't there? And I haven't been to all the planets yet. So might as well quickly have a look at them. Main nuclear, not my favourite.
Extreme sentinel bird. Units
Seeing a
received.
bit, Gravnot?
Extreme sentinel bird.
Other forms in the way, I think.
Extreme sentinel bird.
Get out from under it. Upper fauna is just a pain. I see it flitting in front of me and it's getting in the way.
Units received.
These are interesting.
Received. Units received. Units received.
Rare ground, uncommon flying.
Units received.
Pick a direction and walk, I guess. Let's go south. That's handy. There she is.
Units received.
Somebody else. Orange and blue. Did I reload? I must have reloaded before I got that. Because I made this earlier. For those that don't know, you can only look at these twice before it starts to glitch. So only build 2 and then go out and come back in. Otherwise you'll end up with a non-specific multi-tool. It won't be consistent. Okay, I did that one 3 times. So aerated. Can't think of anything I haven't done. I haven't been paying attention to my order. Eccentric. Did I do that one? Doesn't matter because it's rubbish. And maybe I didn't do havoc because I tend to forget that one. No, none look very good. So, navigation data. But the only planet we haven't done is that one. Bring up the different tool options. What do you mean by that? You mean if you change something else? I've always had to jump out in order to do it, but that doesn't that doesn't make logical sense from what I'm reading. So I don't know what you're saying there really. Well, we'll go to another one and you can explain.
Units received. Units received. Units received. Units received.
Yeah. Found in north. Ground. And the rest are underwater. Are we in the north? Probably not. No, we're not, but we're not far south. Interesting broken terrain on the planet. Yeah, we're still in the south, but only just. After the third attempt with the head, change to another head for the fourth attempt. Well, no, but that's not. It's not how it's ever worked for me. I'm not looking for the glitched ones, obviously. We'll test it and see what you mean. It's rare. It's rare ground, isn't it? Yes. Is that a flying one? It's over there.
Units received.
So one more rare ground, always active. Could be anywhere. It's over there. And then underwater. So we've got a few of these charts. Let's pop one of those and have a look. No, I wasn't trying to do the glitch. I was trying not to do the glitch. I was trying to check what was the actual vanilla stuff in the cabinet. And I can't think of any other way you can force it not to do the glitch other than coming out and going back in again. Although I have a sneaking suspicion that Hello Games reintroduced the glitch deliberately, and that's why it only crops up after 2, as opposed to anywhere you happen to be. I always think for just checking a cabinet, probably not worth doing the glitch, because if anybody wants to come there and look at it, they're going to get confused if they're not looking at the standard ones. So all I'm saying is that if I do a head and a body and, well, that's kind of the body, isn't it? No, it's the, if I do that and look at it, and then that and look at it, I can't think of another way now that I can always look at. I've taken everything out, but I want to make sure I'm always looking at a genuine one. So that's whatever that symbol is, Atlantis. I'm not very good with my Greek symbols, which is why I've got a cheat sheet somewhere. Row Atlantid. Different colour already. So this should have been perfect. Is that Lambda? Yeah, Lambda. But unless you can find, unless anybody can suggest a way that I can not glitch it and still not come out of this interface, that would be what I'd really like to see. A way of being able to look at more than 2 at once and just look at the genuine ones as opposed to the ones that are glitched. Now, yeah, as you're saying, Rocky, I think what they did is they messed up. They realized that that it was always dependent on where you were standing rather than what type of head you were using. They fixed it. And then some people said, hang on a minute, I can't get the staff I used to get. What's going on? And they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll make the standard looking at them the actual ones, and then after a couple we'll glitch it. We'll allow the glitched ones from where you're standing. But it's still a bit broken, even for even if you're using the glitch, because you have to exchange. And even that makes me think it might be deliberate. The way that you have to exchange that, I don't think that was a thing before. Underwater. Let's go and get them. Where do I park? Okay. But it is almost like they thought, well, people are getting confused here. We've kind of got to do something. But people are still getting confused. I mean, there are people that swear blind even today that you can't consistently get the same multi-tool. And that's because they're probably seeing the glitch and not realizing. Yeah, exactly. If you look at it the first 2 times, you'll get the position that you'll get the seed that the position of the cabinet is dictating. If you do it a 3rd time without going out of the interface, you get the seed based on where your head is. Which is why we were developing that way of putting the boxes down. Because that way you can stabilize exactly where you are. Although there does seem to be a possible thing with you choose too small a character, especially a Gek character, then your head might be in a slightly different position even if you're standing in a box. Which I haven't been able to replicate, but I think Gravnaut did that and had 2 different ones once. But it might also be platform dependent, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I've got them all. I'm still looking, but I've got them all. Expecting that to be harder than it was. Yeah, we've demonstrated it can be replicated. Even the glitch ones can be replicated if you find a way of positioning your character like we do with the box. It's like a lot of things in No Man's Sky. You get received wisdom that kind of becomes everybody's standard answer. So people will say, "Oh, I tried to get that staff that was on the exchange, and it was the wrong one." And the answer is to explain all about glitch staffs, but the answer they get is that's because that's not how staffs work. They're always different because of that received wisdom. Which is why I end up making videos about things, so I can just say, here, watch this. So I think I've got all of the fauna apart from the one that had the underground. Oh no, I haven't even touched this one properly. Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, you can see what happened. There's a head variable somewhere, and they used the wrong one. They used the wrong head variable. It's like the head for the staff or the head of the player. Of course, you can change the camera position based on the character, can't you? I've never tried doing that. You can have it at eye level or fixed. So that might change it. Do the underwaters. And once I think I've grabbed these, I might call it a day. Straight away then. Yep, that rare underwater is the worm. Thought so. Flying, flying, ground, ground, ground. One of those is going to be a different type of flying. Yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to test it, Gravenot. I don't think it would either. But then if you switch the camera position to eye level, would it change? I mean, away from eye level. I think most of us probably use eye level. This is a paradise planet, I believe. Yeah, it's an unusual paradise planet. No trees. The rattle-spined things instead of trees. so I knew there'd be a different type of flyer. It's a butterfly. Is it a pink butterfly? Looks like it. That's just the sun. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe it's lilac. I think it's a mixed colour. Nice though. Now the sun's gone down. We may have stopped the other flyers. Let's have a look. Flying. Rare ground, rare ground, rare ground. It's got 3 rare grounds we can probably find at night. So we'll keep walking around. Staffs are the best thing about the multi-tools. I love the staffs. They're just a little bit frustrating, that's all. But the glitch just means you can get more different colours. And if you're on PC, you can mix and match your colours and your staffs. That's my follow me camera thing. Not real camera, virtual follow me camera thing. That where is it? Oh, I thought I saw one with a mushroom head. So that's that variant. It would have to be at night time, wouldn't it?
Recharge.
I might go to the data side. I can't see a thing, and I can't help thinking I might have spotted a mushroom beetle of at least one type or another. It would be very crazy to spot a greater mushroom beetle on a stream. That really would be streamer's luck.
Warning. Threat detected.
Could have been one of these rocks that was just confusing me. That's the spiny back variant. Which is the only variant I'm going to see now. Yeah, that definitely looks pinkish. I could scan it if I could scan it. So that's the same one again. Already spotted. That's the worm. Frustrating when you're looking for something that's already been discovered because you're only really looking for green dots and there are lots of them because you've already discovered everything else or nearly everything else. I guess I'm also looking for that missing one. What was that? Rare ground. It's a random pirate battle going on ahead up above me. Cheerio, Ignition. Thanks for popping in. So let's just make sure there's no tiny variations here that we're not. Oh, that one's bug-headed and that one isn't. So we got both. Fair enough. They both look similar. Probably a different colour as well. Right, so there were no greater mushroom beetles here. So just one more red to spot. There it is.
Units received.
I've only ever found one greater mushroom beetle, and so long ago now. But the only things I haven't got in this system are 3 underground fauna, none of which are rare. Oh no, one is rare. But I'm not sure I have the stamina to look for rare underground creatures today. So I might just land on it.
Warning. Threat detected.
Make a save, and then if I pick up the game at some point off stream, I might look. If not, maybe where I start off next time. I mean, hunting for underground creatures can be an interesting thing to do, as I was hopefully was showing in the standard video I made the other day, the video on demand, as some people call them. But it can get tedious if you can't find one quickly. But I have lots of marked points on this map, so I've already got some of the hard work done. The storm planets, that might add a complication. All those nice snow tree planets. Which are pretty cool. Okay, so I think I'll finish off there. It's been over 3 hours anyway. I don't know how that time slips past. I think, oh, it's 2.5 hours, and the next time I look, it's 3.5 hours. But thanks all for watching, and catch you another time. I've been Pharaoh, and travel well.